it can get very interesting when you get into information dealing with the number 11, because you got a couple aspects you got to look at in reference to this number. More so than any other number, you got to look at the spelling, and then you got to also look at the number itself, and then you have to look at the glyph. I call it the glyph for the number 11 itself, and look for where that came from. And actually, the number 11, I actually keep this is on me because it's a part of any magician must keep one of these. So I keep a couple of different tools actually with me, and I'm fully trained in how to use them. Definitely fully trained when to use them and on who to use them on. You keep a tool on you. I just want to throw this in there. This is not what this video is about, but when you keep a tool on you, each tool is for a certain specific purpose. Meaning that just because you have a weapon on you doesn't mean you get into a fight, you go use it. That's not necessarily the case. You use it when need be. But anyway, the number 11 comes from the knife, actually. The original glyph for K, which goes into the number 11, is the knife. The number 11 is a weapon. It represents combat. Before Egypt was Egypt, it was called Kemet, some say, or Kemet. It has you see the hard K. See, the K is hard because this actually, believe it or not, some people, there's debates about this. However, the C and the K are kind of synonymous, one and the same. However, when you get into language, they drift off. The C and the K, they kind of, split, and then you get into what's called the S. See, the C, the S, and the K kind of all work together. So the number 3, the number 11, and the number 19. When I get into the number 19, I'll go back into that information from an Arabic perspective and, from an Eastern perspective, and taking you into the Western aspect of it as well. But the number 11 is important. I'm going to start off with it because this represents combat. This is when you get into the game or chess. So we're going to use a few examples or whatever with the number 11, because the number 11 is really kind of taken out of our language and it's hidden. And I'm talking about in the Western aspect. The number 11 is taken out of our language and it's hidden because in the West, they don't want you to know that you're competing at all times. Everything that you do, you're in competition. Everything is a sport and a game here in the West. This is how the West was invented, through the Olmecs. See, the Olmecs had a game called Palenque or something of that nature, some form of soccer. I think they pronounced it Palenque, a form of soccer. And this is how they came here. They won their way. They won land this way. Everything was done on competition, combat, sport. So when you get into understanding sports, we're going to kind of go into sports, you need to work with the number 11. You cannot, if you have not mastered the number 11, the information dealing with the number 11, meaning that you're not trained in discipline, in defense, self-defense, as well as offense, and as well as understanding how to move in this matrix on your own without the protection of government or the military or the police force. What if you were put in a situation like that where government turned on you? When you master the number 11, you become kind of sort of like an asset, similar to an assassin or some form of that nature, and you are able to move by yourself as one person and make maneuvers and make deals and end battles and start battles and finish battles, all from working through this gateway of the number 11. You may think I'm making this up, but when you think about the stories of the Anunnaki, you see the number, the K, the 11. Because this goes into Enlil and Enki. See, the keys, which is the numbers or the units, are very important in dealing with the number 11. Before you can move into nationhood, you must first have units, monetization, some form of numbers, any kind of numbers that or set of numbers that you're working with. And you take that set of numbers when you move into nationhood, and this turns into units, and you turn those units into what's called a flag. So you invest those units into a flag. So without a flag, you can't move. And this is where it gets tricky, and why people don't understand how I'm talking about doing all of this and that on YouTube and only getting 100 something views, and then you like talking about billion-dollar ideas and you only getting hundreds of views. It's because I understand units and flags, and I understand what's called generating funds as well as income and things of that nature, and how to use all of those different terms of generating funds, income, and assets and liabilities, and invest that into what's called a flag. Every nation has to have a flag, and that flag is a commodity. And as a being, as a whole being, you are a part of that flag. So though you may not be getting views, or you may not be able to monetize fully off of what I'm speaking on because you can't prove your price, meaning that you may be worth $1 million, but you can't monetize $1 million. Like, you can't generate $1 million. You don't know how to do it. You can still see, this is where the flag comes in at, and understanding the art of war. This is why they separate you from the flag here in a lot of states in the corporate U.S., because this is a bank. It functions as a bank or a credit card in a lot of states here. And they separate you from the flag because they don't want you to tie into the commodities in the land of the flag, because it will, over time, increase your net worth. Just like me right now, I don't use my name at all, but right now, if I was to use my name, I got stimulus checks waiting on me for like $5,000 and $10,000 and all of this stuff, but I won't use it because it's credit, and I understand that what I have in my pocket and what I carry on me is worth more than a lot of what they're sending me. And actually, these checks that they're sending me, these stimulus checks, are being generated off of what's called, like, my sunglasses, the commodities that I've built up on. And I'm not bragging. I'm not using this to brag. This is important because in dealing with the number 11, what I'm explaining is how to maneuver and move as a weapon or as an industry, because business is the art of war, and turning yourself into a business or a weapon to move through this matrix, and then tying into some form of units when you're dealing with sports. You don't have to worry about the team, what team wins and what team loses. Look at the units and what the units are speaking, and this is what I do. And then I point you in a direction based upon what the units are speaking. Okay, so which nation is these units speaking to? See, a lot of the times the scores is how the nations function in sports. They don't function through the team itself. They betting on the numbers. It's like in NBA, they betting on, is it going, you know what I'm saying? Are they going to bust 100? They betting on stuff like that. They betting on 0 to 1 binary code. Is 0 going to fall? Are there any zeros going to fall today? See, this is what they're betting on in units, and a lot of people don't understand the science because you don't understand nationhood. Once you begin to understand this, now you are a commodity. Now your brain is not just your brain, but your brain is now like a diamond. You're an interface, and now you can begin to generate currency from your thoughts and ideas like in seconds, because you understand the language of what's being spoken to you. Just like yesterday, I just was on a sidebar watching the Flyers, score watching, not watching the game itself, watching the Flyers and Bruins, and I picked up in credit, I picked up over $1,000 last night in credit, not in cash. I mean, I picked up, over, you know what I'm saying, over in cash and credits and stuff like that, over $60 to $100 in cash and like over $1,000 in credit. So I make a lot of money and a lot of units off of my channel. And I don't really get into speaking on it, and I don't even. This is outside of PayPal and donations. I can use these videos as a credit card and as a tool and generate funds. And this is why, you know, I get a lot of flack from, you know, YouTube presenters and things like that and the likes, because I understand that this is nothing but a business and a bet. Everything that's going on, the comments, everything is a bet. So, food for thought for today. Just want to chop it up. We're going to go more deeper into the number 11 and help you to understand what was really going on with this Inky and Enlil story. What is this really speaking on? This is a competition. What is this competition leading to? That's what we're going to go into next, speaking on Inky and Enlil. And then we're going to go back into the hours I haven't forgot in dealing with Horus, in relationship to this battle, and this competition, and how the astrology flag is the basis of funding and crediting any nation, any government. Got to go through the zodiac. So have a good day, and as always, namaste. Stay vigilant. Hotep. Islam. And peace.